The Kethmoran had a reputation that preceded it across 17 star systems. Standing 12 feet tall with obsidian scales that could deflect plasma fire, razor-sharp claws capable of rending titanium, and eyes like molten gold that had witnessed the destruction of entire civilizations, it was known throughout the galaxy as the apex predator. The beast had never been tamed, never been conquered, and certainly never been contained for more than a few hours before it inevitably broke free, leaving carnage in its wake. Commander Zara Vex of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force had seen the aftermath of a Kethmoran rampage on Proxima Station. The images still haunted her dreams: twisted metal, scorched corridors, and the eerie silence that followed death. So when reports came in that one had been spotted on the agricultural colony of Haven's Rest, her blood ran cold. "Evacuation protocols are in effect," she announced to her crew as their ship dropped out of hyperspace. "No engagement unless absolutely necessary. We're here to save lives, not play hero." The colony below sprawled across rolling green hills, its modest settlements connected by dirt roads. It was the kind of place where families came to start fresh, where children could run freely under an alien sun, while their parents tended to genetically modified crops that would feed 3 systems. Now it was a death trap. The Kethmoran had been spotted near the eastern settlement, moving with the deliberate pace of a creature that knew nothing could challenge it. Early reports suggested it had already destroyed 2 agricultural facilities and was heading toward the residential areas where hundreds of colonists, including dozens of children, were still trapped. As Zara's team descended in their dropships, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were already too late. The beast moved faster than their ships when it wanted to, and if it had decided to hunt humans, the colonists wouldn't stand a chance. The first thing that struck her when they landed was the silence. No screams, no explosions, no sounds of destruction. Just an unsettling quiet that made her skin crawl. Her scanner indicated the Kethmoran was less than a kilometer away, in the middle of the main settlement. Yet there were no distress signals, no signs of the massacre she had expected. "Something's wrong," muttered Sergeant Knox, her second in command. "This thing should have leveled half the colony by now." They advanced cautiously through empty streets, weapons raised following the signal from their scanners. The readings grew stronger as they approached the town's central square, where a small playground sat adjacent to the local school. Zara's heart hammered against her ribs as they rounded the final corner. What she saw defied everything she thought she knew about the galaxy's most feared predator. The Kethmoran sat motionless in the center of the playground, its massive form coiled around the base of a colorful climbing structure. Its head, large enough to swallow a grown man whole, was lowered to the ground where a small human child, no more than 6 years old, sat cross-legged in the dirt. The little girl had sandy brown hair tied in pigtails and was wearing a bright, yellow dress that seemed to glow in the afternoon sunlight. She was talking to the beast. "And then Mama said we could have pancakes for breakfast if I was good," the child was saying in the matter-of-fact way that only children possessed. "But I accidentally spilled juice on my dress, so now I have to wear this one instead. Do you like yellow? I think it's pretty." The Kethmoran, this creature that had terrorized the galaxy for decades, made a sound that Zara had never heard before, a low, rumbling purr that seemed to emanate from deep within its chest. Its golden eyes, usually blazing with predatory hunger, watched the child with an expression that could only be described as gentle. "Sir," Knox whispered, his voice barely audible. "What do we do?" Zara raised her hand for silence, unable to look away from the impossible scene before them. The child reached out with one tiny hand and placed it on the Kethmoran's snout. The beast, which could have incinerated her with a breath, closed its eyes and leaned into the touch. "You're sad, aren't you?" the little girl said softly. "I can tell. I get sad sometimes too, especially when I miss my daddy. He's working on a big spaceship far away, but Mama says he'll come home soon." The Kethmoran's purring grew louder, and it shifted its position to rest its enormous head more comfortably on the ground beside the child. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy's most feared predator looked peaceful. "I know what will make you feel better," the girl announced, reaching into a small bag beside her. She pulled out what appeared to be a sandwich wrapped in colorful paper. Mama made me lunch, but I'm not very hungry. Would you like to share it with me? She unwrapped the sandwich, peanut butter and jelly, from the looks of it, and held out half to the massive creature. The Kethmaran's eyes opened, studying the offering with what Zara could swear was curiosity. Slowly, carefully, it extended its tongue and delicately took the sandwich from the child's hand. The little girl giggled, a sound like silver bells in the quiet air. You're funny. Your tongue is all purple and bumpy. Are you from far away? I bet you've seen lots of planets. I've only seen 2, but Mama says that's pretty good for someone my age. As the afternoon wore on, Zara and her team maintained their position, too mesmerized to intervene. The child chatted away about everything and nothing, her favorite colors, her pet fish, the story her teacher had read that morning about brave space explorers. The Kethmaran listened to every word, occasionally making soft sounds that the girl seemed to interpret as responses. When the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, the little girl yawned. I should go home now. Mama will worry if I'm late for dinner. She stood up and brushed the dirt from her dress, then placed both hands on the beast's snout. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you're not sad anymore. The Kethmaran rose slowly, towering over the tiny figure, but its movements were careful and controlled. It lowered its head once more, and the child pressed her forehead against its snout in what could only be described as a hug. Goodbye, friend, she whispered. Maybe we can talk again tomorrow. The beast straightened, looked directly at Zara and her team for a long moment, acknowledging their presence without hostility, then turned and walked away into the growing darkness. Within minutes, it had vanished into the wilderness beyond the settlement. The little girl skipped toward the houses, humming a tune under her breath, completely unaware that she had just accomplished what no military force, no weapon, and no containment system in the galaxy had ever managed. She had tamed the untamable through nothing more than kindness, innocence, and the simple act of treating a monster like a friend. As Zara watched the child disappear into one of the houses, she realized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, or their determination, or even their stubborn refusal to give up. It was their capacity to see beyond fear, to find connection in the most unlikely places, and to offer compassion even to those the galaxy had deemed irredeemable. The Kethmaran was never seen in that system again, but the story spread throughout the galaxy like wildfire, and somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, military commanders and politicians began to understand that perhaps humanity's role in the cosmos wasn't to be the galaxy's warriors, but its conscience.